Hi, this is Ms. Felice. In this video, we are going to talk about how to represent ratios with tables and graphs. Let's start with this first problem. Hank has a recipe that calls for 1 cup of sour cream and 4 cups of milk per batch. The table shows the amount of sour cream and milk he will need if he doubles the recipe. So first off, let's answer the question, what is the ratio of cups of sour cream to cups of milk? Well, the recipe calls for 1 cup of sour cream and 4 cups of milk, so our ratio would be 1 to 4. Now we want to complete the table for 3 and 4 times the original batch size of the recipe. So here we can see a table has been started. For one batch of the recipe, we would use, for batch 1, we would use 1 cup of sour cream, 4 cups of milk. For the second batch of a recipe, if we wanted to double the recipe, then that means we would need double the amount of sour cream. So instead of 1 cup, we would need 2 cups. And instead of 4 cups of milk, we would need 8 cups of milk. What if we tripled the recipe? Well, instead of 1 cup of sour cream, if I wanted to triple that, we would need 3 cups of sour cream. If I wanted to triple the amount of milk, we would need 12 cups. So 3 cups of sour cream to 12 cups of milk. If I wanted to quadruple the recipe, if I wanted to make 4 batches, we would need 4 cups of sour cream. I would have to do this batch 4 times, so there would be a total of 4 cups of sour cream, and then same thing here. 4 cups of milk. If I quadrupled that, we would have 16 cups of milk. For part C, we want to write a ratio of cups of sour cream to cups of milk for each batch size of the recipe in the table. So for one batch, my ratio is 1 to 4. Now don't forget, we can write our ratios like fractions. So 1 to 4, 1/4. 2 batches of the recipe would mean 2 cups of sour cream and 8 cups of milk. 3 batches would be 3 cups of sour cream and 12 cups of milk. 4 batches would be 4 cups of sour cream and 16 cups of milk. So there are our 4 ratios. Now, are the ratios we wrote above equivalent ratios? How do you know? Well, take a look at these fractions. What do we notice about them? If I simplify 2/8, if I divide the top and the bottom both by 2, we get the fraction 1/4, which is the same as our original ratio. Same thing here. If I simplify 3/12 by dividing the top and the bottom both by 3, I get 1/4, which is again the same thing as our original ratio. And then finally, if I divide the top and bottom of the last by 4, I'm going to get 1/4. So yes, these are equivalent ratios because they all have the same simplified ratio. If I simplify all of these, they are all equivalent to 1/4. Now, let's use this table and this information to help us answer a couple more questions. Hank wants to make a large amount of food to bring to a party. He wants to make 7 batches of the recipe. My question is, how much sour cream and how much milk will Hank need? Well, there's a couple things we could do here. Number 1, I could continue this ratio table we already have up to 4 batches. I could do 5 batches, 6 batches, 7 batches. Let's see what that would be. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I did 5 batches, my ratio would be 5 to 20. Notice how on this side I'm counting by 1s, and for the milk we're counting by 4s. For 6 batches, it would be 6 cups of sour cream to 24 cups of milk. And then 7 batches would be 7 cups of sour cream to 28 cups of milk. So my answer would be 7 cups of sour cream and 28 cups of milk. Now, that's not the only way I had to solve this problem. Now, if you notice, there is a multiplicative relationship from the first ratio for the different batches. Now let me show you what I mean. So our original ratio of sour cream to milk is 1 to 4. And I always like to label my ratio. This is the sour cream side, just so I don't forget. And this is the milk side. Now, if that's how much sour cream and milk we need for one batch, to figure out how much you need for 7 batches, we can multiply this ratio, both sides, by 7. 1 times 7 is 7 cups of sour cream. 4 times 7 to 28 cups of milk. So I have 2 options. I can always use the ratio table to help me, or I can use this multiplicative relationship to help me. Hank ended up using 48 cups of milk. Ooh, that's high. How many cups of sour cream does Hank need to use to keep the ratio equivalent? Well, again, I like to set up my ratio. Here's my original ratio, 1 to 4, and it was 1 cup of sour cream to 4 cups of milk. Hank ended up using 48 cups of milk. So I need to figure out if Hank used 48 cups of milk, and now I'm going to put 48 on the milk side of my ratio, how many cups of sour cream would have to go with that to keep this ratio equivalent? I'm going to ask myself, what do I multiply 4 by to get to 48? Multiply by 12. And we know to keep a ratio equivalent, you have to multiply both sides by the same number. So I would multiply sour cream by 12. 1 times 12 is 12. Hank needs 12 cups of sour cream. Let's do one more problem together. Okay, here we go. Tova is an artist and she is mixing red and blue paint to make purple paint. The ratio of cups of red paint to cups of blue paint is 3 to 2. Create a ratio table. Okay, so the ratio of red to blue is 3 to 2. So 3 to 2, there's my ratio. Now I'm going to start to make my ratio table and include all of my equivalent ratios. If she doubled this, our ratio would be 6 to 4. If we tripled it, our ratio would be 9 to 6. If I quadrupled it, our ratio would be 12, make this a little longer, 12 to 8. And I can keep going. I can make this ratio table as big as I need to, but I'll stop here for now. Question number, letter A. If Tova wants to triple the amount of paint she's using, how many cups of red paint and blue paint does she need? Well, this would be if she made just 1 batch. 6 to 4, that would be 2 batches. 3 batches would be 9 to 6. So she would need 9 cups of red paint and 6 cups of blue paint. I could have also gotten that answer by taking this ratio, 3 to 2, and multiplying both sides by 3, because we're tripling it. And that would have also given me the ratio 9 to 6. If Tova uses 12 cups of blue paint, how many cups of red paint will she need? So I can either continue to make my ratio table, to figure out blue paint. Let's keep going. 12 cups of blue paint. Well, the next ratio in this table would be the ratio 15 to 10. Okay, we're still not at 12 cups of blue paint yet, so I got to keep going. Then we would have 18 to 12. Okay, we just hit 12 cups of paint on the blue side. So when there are 12 cups of blue paint, that means Tova must use 18 cups of red paint. So that's how you figure it out using the ratio table. But again, I could have also used a multiplicative relationship by setting up my ratio 3 to 2. And that would be, again, I always label everything red to blue. And said, okay, 12 cups of blue paint. Let's put 12 on the blue side. Now we got to figure out what to multiply this by so that it stays equivalent. Well, from 2 to 12, we're multiplying by 6. 2 times 6 is 12, which means I also have to multiply by 6 for the red side. 3 times 6, 18. So same answer. For part C, we want to graph the data from the table. Graph the data from the table. So I see cups of red paint on the bottom on my x-axis, and on my y-axis I have cups of blue paint. So my first ratio is 3 to 2. 3 cups of red, 2 cups of blue. On the table, on the graph, I would go right here to 3, which is right in between 2 and 4. 3 cups of red paint on my x-axis. And then go up to 2 cups of blue paint. And that's where my first data point would go. Next is 6 to 4. So I go over to the right to 6 and then up to 4 for 4 cups of blue paint. Next is 9 cups of red, 6 cups of blue. So I go over to 9 cups of red in between 8 and 10 and go up to 6 cups of blue. Next would be 12 to 8. So I'm going to go over to 12 on the x-axis for red paint and up to 8 for blue paint. Let's do one more. 15 to 10. 15 cups of red paint up to 10 cups of blue paint. Now this is how you can tell that you created your ratio table the correct way. Your data points will always make a perfectly straight line. If all of your data points are equivalent ratios, you will always have this nice straight line. And that's how we can represent our ratios on a graph. Thank you for watching this video, and if you have any questions, please let me know.